One of the best things that I've learned from Tony Robbins is around the 6 human needs. And I was able to actually identify that it also applies in business. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how these 6 human needs is going to help you to build a great company with great culture. So what Tony Robbins said is that we have 6 needs that if we satisfy them, and if we can satisfy them all, we will feel a lot more happier and fulfilled. And when something's missing, then there's always going to be that kind of hunger and that gap that makes us search for something else. And this means that if we can provide these 6 human needs at work, it means that we're going to be able to retain our staff for a long time. So let me start with the first human needs, which is the need for certainty. So this is where we want to make sure that the place that the staff works in feels comfortable, feels safe, that they get paid on time, for example. And there's that certainty that their boss doesn't explode at them, they don't have to walk on eggshells, and that is how they feel the sense of certainty. Now, interestingly, the next one is uncertainty or variety. So as much as we love certainty, as human beings, we get bored. So how we can create uncertainty or variety is to allow the staff to work on different things, to not always be working on the same thing for year in on. And so allow them to try different projects, or maybe you can create variety by having different fun themes for the week, or even doing different activities. So how can you create this variety where it feels like it's not a routine and it's not like a chore? There is that kind of sense of adventure in your company. Now, the third one, which is very important, and this happens in real life, a lot in real life, is that we want a sense of significance. So as human beings, we want to feel important. And if we don't, we feel like, what's the point of working hard for? And so how you can make your staff feel significant is by praising them, by acknowledging them, by, for example, in our company, we have something called karma points. So when someone does well, we don't just say, oh, well, number one is you should say something. And a lot of companies don't even bother saying anything. They just expect it to be, part of their job. Of course, we're paying you, so of course you have to do your work. But if you just take time out to say thank you, but also thank you in public. So in our company, we, for example, when someone does well, we actually give them points. So there's an automation that happens on Slack where we press a button, we fill in some entries and explain why we give this person a point. And that person gets acknowledged across the whole company. So in the Slack channel, everyone can see that this person got acknowledged for doing something great. And then the points means that they get to accumulate these points and to redeem it for money. And so the whole point is to help them to just feel like they are important and that their effort is valued. Now, the fourth one is love and connection. So there's a really good quote from Dean Ornish. The need for connection and community is primal, as fundamental as the need for air, water, and food. So what it's trying to say here is that we made to need community, that we need connection. And this is why we fall in love, we find a partner, we get married, and at work, we want to feel connected to the people we work with. And a lot of times, back in the days when I used to work in corporate life, I just felt so isolated. I didn't feel like we love each other. We're all there just to do our work so that we could get paid. And it's not just enough to just go after work and, have some drinks on the weekend or after work on a Friday. How can you actually make them feel connected every single day? So how we do that, especially when it comes to a remote working environment, a lot of times people feel like, well, how do you even connect with your team members if you're working from home? You're just on the computer. But we do that by having lots of Slack channels. So Slack is our kind of virtual office. And then we have different channels for different interests. So we have channels for people who are Christian. We have channel for people who love food. We have channel for parents. And these little communities allow the team to connect with one another, to have something of shared interest, and then they're there to support each other. And even in our general Slack channel, we allowed team members to actually ask questions. So it's like, how do I do this? Does anyone know how to do that? And when they feel like they can rely on their community to help, they feel really connected. And also, we also create a lot of love and connection by, providing gifts for birthdays. So when someone's birthday comes along, we would surprise them with the birthday. Now, fifth is growth. at the end of the day, people want to feel like they're progressing. And when they don't feel like they're growing, they start to feel bored and feel unmotivated. So how you can create growth in the company is allow them to have training, come up with ideas for workshops, and even allowing people to actually present and teach someone else. So it's not even about them learning something, it's about them giving back and showing their skill set to someone else. And so when they can teach, they start to feel really empowered, feel really confident, and they feel like they're growing. And often we would even encourage people to take up therapy, life coaching sessions. So I've opened it up to our team before, where it's like, hey, whatever you're going through in your personal life, why don't you sit with an actual coach and they'll help you through it? Because at the end of the day, if they're not happy at home, they're not going to be happy at work. And so we always want them to feel like they're professionally growing and also personally growing through personal development, help through books, etc., or even training programs. And finally, contribution. So as much as you provide them with the best pay and you do all these things, ultimately people are feeling at the end of the, I feel like when people start to get into their 30s and 40s, they start to feel like life is more bigger than this. I don't know why, but I've earned so much money and I'm really happy at my work, but then there's still something missing. And what that usually means is that they feel the sense of contribution. I have a team member who said to me, she was climbing the corporate life and she had a really good paying job, but she just felt a little bit empty. And she tried to work for a non-profit organization and, it was still something missing. But then when she came into our company, she felt that our own service itself is making a difference in the world. We are actually creating jobs for people in developing countries. So that means that for every hard work that she does at work, she knows that she's helping to create a difference in places like the Philippines. And then we also do actual charity. So we contribute 10% of our profits to the Philippines. So they just feel like we're not here just to get them to work hard to make money, but to actually make a difference in the world. And VAs also don't feel like they're just rocking up doing their VA jobs. They're actually being part of a big mission. So how you can do it in your company is align yourself with a mission that's aligned to you. You don't have to be just helping the Philippines. It's maybe sometimes people find that they grew up homeless, they grew up poor, that they want to be able to help somewhere in their local community. So it's just find something, not doing it just so that you could look good, that you look like you are charitable, but really do it from the heart and find something that you're really connected with. And so when people can see that authenticity in you creating a business to actually make a difference, people will really feel like they're contributing to something and they will really work hard and stay with you in the long run. Those are the 6 human needs. You can read more from Tony Robbins, and those 6 human needs really apply to your personal life as well. So if you don't find ways to actually fulfill those needs, you're going to feel empty in your life. And then you start to, think about drinking or maybe breaking up with your partner because he's not meeting certain needs. But you can always find those needs somewhere within your life. And number 1 is actually realizing that these needs exist, because when I found it, I was like, oh my God, okay, how do I satisfy these needs? So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, I'd love to hear them below. Otherwise, I'll see you again in the next video.